Hello, fellow Rotarians and guests. I'm Lori Alton, and I'm honored to serve as your club president for the Rotary year 2021-2022. The Rotary Club of Columbus has a storied past, beginning in 1915, when a group of civic-minded people saw the need for leaders to come together to find ways to make our community better. And now, 106 years later, we're a vibrant, strong club that continues to place service above self. Our club is diverse, with members across all sectors of business, government, military, healthcare, education, nonprofit and community service, ministry, and the arts. And we come together each week as friends with a shared purpose of learning how we can be more involved in the things that matter to all of us. And we leave committed to changing our community and changing lives. As Rotarians, we are people of action, and it shows. So welcome back to Rotary. Thank you for being here, and thank you for making a difference in our community. Well, hello and welcome to the September 22nd meeting of the Rotary Club of Columbus. Now, if you did not know, today is the first full day of fall. Anybody remember? Yeah. Doesn't quite feel like it outside right now, but they tell me that by in the morning it's going to feel way more like fall, so I'm excited about that. It's good to see all of you here, and for those of you joining us online, a warm welcome to you as well. I want to start out by recognizing Haysha, and I told her earlier she would need to stand, and so that didn't do any good, did it? But I heard a rumor that Haysha went, along with several of the other GRSP students, went to a music festival this weekend. So, Haysha, where are you? There you are. How was it? So much fun? Is it too much fun you can't talk about, or you can talk about? You can tell us a little bit. Well, wonderful. Well, it sounds like you're having some fun. You're doing some cool things so far. Great. Thank you. Now, would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now I'd like to ask Wry Wright if he would please bring us today's invocation in accordance with his faith tradition.
Hello, Rotarians and guests. It's nice to see each of you here, as well as the ones on Facebook watching. I went back and watched the last time I did the invocation, and I forgot to mention the can. I got away with it last time, so I'm not going to take my chances this time, so please do not forget the cans. All right. Now, if you would please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the freedom to gather here and fellowship together. Even though these past 2 years of hardship, loss, and pure uncertainty, you have shown us that if we stick together, we can overcome anything through you. We have continued to carry out our club's meetings, whether through Facebook or in person, but more importantly, service over self, despite the challenges we have faced. We thank you for that. And as we enjoy the food prepared for us today, we ask that you bless us to the nourishment of our bodies and our bodies to your service. In your name we pray. Amen.
At this time, I would like to ask Austin Lyle to please bring us today's news.
Hello, everyone, and here is a look at your headlines. The COVID booster was recommended for people 65 and older. The FDA has recommended COVID-19 booster shots for Americans aged 65 and older, as well as those at high risk, healthcare workers, and others at high risk at occupational exposure, such as teachers. The FDA, however, did not approve the release of the booster to the general public outside of those classifications, citing lack of supporting evidence. The House of Representatives passed a stopgap bill to avoid a government shutdown. The House voted on Tuesday to pass legislation wherein the government would be funded through December 3rd, while also extending the debt ceiling until after the 2022 election. As the bill heads to the Senate, however, its likelihood of passage is shaky, as the bill does not have bipartisan support. The Dow Jones was up 225 points as of just short of noon today. Your weather forecast is cloudy with a high of 80 and a low of 55, and that does scream fall. We'll end with this fact, though. While most of us know that today is the first day of autumn, the autumnal equinox, does anyone know what other important, I do say important with quotes around it, designation September 22nd has in the U.S.? That rings true, because I didn't. It is also the American Businesswomen's Day, Elephant Appreciation Day, and the National Ice Cream Cone Day. So celebrate accordingly.
And now I'd like to ask David Ranieri if he would please introduce today's visiting Rotarians and guests.
Good afternoon and welcome. We have a number of guests joining us today, and we are very grateful to have you all join us. First, we have Joel Ames. He's brought Amanda Baker, who's a senior consulting for Physicians Outreach at Piedmont. Amanda, will you please stand? And we're going to ask all of you to stand, please, when I introduce you, so that we can put a name with a face, and so that everyone can personally welcome them as we go through the meeting today. So welcome, Amanda. Vern Humphrey has brought along his daughter, Amanda Bloodworth. Amanda, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. And Norm Easterbrook brought along Denise Dowdy. She's the new development director for the River Center. Denise, thank you for joining us, and I apologize for the name tag. I knew somebody had an EY on it, but thank you very much. All right, and of course our speaker today, Julio, has brought along a number of guests with him from Midtown staff. He brought Bitsy Deadweiler, Kelly Watts, and Sarah Carver. If y'all will please stand up. And welcome to each of you. A warm Rotary welcome, and thank you for joining us today.
It's always wonderful to have so many great visitors. So as you know, one of our favorite traditions each week is to honor a military guest. And so at this time, I'd like to ask Mike Smajd if he would please introduce today's Colonel Ralph Puckett Jr. Soldier of the Week.
Can you hear me? All right. President Lori and fellow Rotarians, it's my pleasure to introduce to you this afternoon Specialist Allison Wise. Specialist Wise is a member of the United States Army Marksmanship Unit International Rifle Team. She grew up in Montana, and just seeing if you're awake. She graduated from the University of Mississippi, where she earned her Bachelor's of Science in Nutrition and Dietetics, and then went on to get her Master's of Science in Clinical Nutrition from the University of Memphis in December 2020. In May 2020, she joined the Army after a distinguished shooting career at the University of Mississippi, where she was twice an All-American in 2016 and 17, and qualified 4 times for the NCAA Championship Individual Qualifier from 14 to 17. She was a member of the 2020, which happened in 2021, the U.S. Olympic team that went to Tokyo, Japan, and she is single and resides here at Fort Benning. Specialist Wise, we have for you some gifts today. First, I have this Rotary coin as a memento of your visit. You can have that. And then also, we have the Passport to the Arts, which is 2 tickets for you and a friend to attend the River Center for the Performing Arts, the Columbus Symphony Orchestra, the Columbus State University Theater Department, the Spring Opera House, and the National Infantry Museum. Also, we have the certificate for today with your name on it there. You can have that. And then finally, we have this book for your professional library, Words for Warriors, written by Colonel Ralph Puckett, a member of this club and a Medal of Honor recipient, and we have that notated here in the book. This has been personally inscribed to you, and it was a gift given to you by our Rotarian Betsy Covington in honor of Jeannie Martin Puckett, wife of the author, whose love and unfailing support and devotion enabled Colonel Puckett to become one of the most valiant and honored soldiers in the United States Army. So we want to give you that as well. Please join me in welcoming Specialist Wise today.
Specialist Wise, it's such an honor to have you, and we appreciate all that you do for our country, our community, and please take this message back to all of the fellow soldiers at Fort Benning and tell them how much we appreciate them, and come back again soon, okay? Okay. For the past couple of weeks, we have been sharing little short videos featuring the organizations that were supported by this year's Children's Fund. So today, we have a video from Clement Arts. So let's take a look.
I told Lisa, I said, you need to come to court, and I want you to sit through the docket, and I want you to see how long you can go without breaking into tears. And she didn't get through the first case before I looked back in the back of the courtroom. She was back there just weeping, because those kids deserve every opportunity to succeed that we can give them.
So Muskogee County, we have usually around 500 children in foster care at any given time. And with Clement Care, we really do believe that the church is the answer to this crisis. We always say that if there was one foster family in each church that stepped up to foster, and then that church surrounded that family, we can eliminate that crisis.
When we started to put this vision together, it was just so overwhelming. It started to become apparent that this was a much bigger elephant than we even realized. And one of the biggest opportunities for us was the training piece. How do we make sure that our advocates and our volunteers have the training that they need and they fully understand what it is we're trying to accomplish so that we're all working towards a common goal? And that's where Clement Care came in, and they helped us with that.
They have just provided great counsel. They provided great resources and tools, and kind of walk through step by step. Okay, this is what you should be doing. This is how this should look. I mean, here's some resources. Oh, do you need a bed? Okay, well, we can provide that for your family.
Well, for us, it looks like we help out in any way we can, mentoring the young children.
We just end up building a relationship with the parent and the kids. You know, they love us, we love them.
Knowing we're not alone, especially in the foster care journey, has made it possible to continue fostering. One of the biggest blessings has been our care team, people that we didn't know who wanted to serve us and bless us. I'm not a big fan of cooking, and so to have a meal brought to my home each week is just wonderful, to not have to think about what we're gonna eat that night. And they check in regularly asking, how can we pray for you? What do you need? And knowing that they really are praying, that makes all the difference.
Couple of announcements for today. If you are watching online and you are ready to come back in person, we would love to have you. We just ask that you RSVP by Friday, and just let us know you'll be here. Now, if you're a regular and you have a standing RSVP, but you will not be able to be here next week, if you would just let us know that as well. One other announcement, have you signed up yet for Rotary football? Yes? No? Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Joe knows how it feels up here with crickets, right? It's been a really interesting season so far, and I suspect it's only going to get more interesting as we go along. So I encourage you to sign up. It's our biggest fundraiser for the Rotary Foundation, and it's a lot of fun. Let's just put it that way. So joining me today at the head table is Wry Wright, who brought us today's invocation, and now I'd like to ask past President Tripp Wade to introduce today's speaker.
President Laurie, fellow Rotarians, it's my pleasure today to introduce Rotarian Julio Portillo, the Executive Director of MidTown Inc. I don't care how many times I try to say his last name, I get it wrong. Julio was born and raised in San Salvador, El Salvador. If it's not bad enough to have to say Portillo, then you got to try to say El Salvador and San Salvador. His first visit to Columbus, Georgia was in 1991 when his father was stationed at Fort Benning. 19 years later, Julio moved to Columbus, Georgia to attend Columbus State University, where he obtained a Bachelor of Business Administration in Marketing and a Master of Public Administration and Government Administration. In 2014, he began serving as an adjunct member in the College of Science and Letters at the Columbus State University, where he later taught public administration, public policy, and community development through 2019. In July of 2018, Julio became the third executive director of MidTown Inc. Prior to joining Midtown, he spent 12 years at the River Valley Regional Commission as a senior transportation planner, covering a 16-county area in southwest Georgia. Julio served as a member of the leadership team for Midtown Inc's Night Cities Challenge Winning Minimum Grid Project, has served as a board member and advisor for local statewide organizations which focus on economic development and community planning initiatives. He serves as an ex officio board member for Bicycles Columbus, Trees Columbus, Historic Columbus, and Young Professional, and as a member of the Chattahoochee Sailing Club. In 2018, Julio was recognized by Georgia Trend magazine as one of the state's best and brightest young leaders in our state, as a recognition of 40 under 40. In his free time, which he doesn't have a whole lot of, Julio enjoys cycling, sailing, and for over 10 years has made Midtown his home. He and his wife Maggie, along with their 2 children, Edie 5 and Jude 3, and their 4 dogs, enjoy calling Midtown their home. Please help me welcome Julio Portillo.
Thank you, Tripp. And yes, my name is a little complicated, but Julio is just fine. It works. Thank you all very much for having me. Thank you for that kind introduction. And thank you, Rotary, for inviting us to just bring you some good news from MidTown Inc. I'd also like to welcome those viewing us online via Facebook as well. All right, MidTown Inc. I think it's been quite a while since we brought updates to Rotary from Midtown. I believe the last updates, or the last time Ann King was here, who's also a fellow Rotarian, I believe was 2014. So it's been a while, and a lot of great things have happened since. There we go. So I'm going to try to explain to you all and bring you an update about Midtown, trying to answer 2 questions. And those are perhaps the 2 most common questions that we get at Midtown. The first of those being, where exactly is Midtown? And the second being, what exactly does Midtown do? So 2 very, very simple questions. Actually, the first one's the simplest. So here is a map of the Midtown boundaries. I'll give you some numbers to accompany this map. Midtown is a neighborhood. It's pretty much neighborhood living at the heart of our community. Our area is 6 square miles, which represents 3% of the city's lands area, 12% of the city's population, and 10.4% of the city's tax base. It is also home to Lake Bottom Park, which is our pride and joy. We all love Lake Bottom Park. We have 11 proud Midtown schools within Midtown as well, the Columbus Museum, the Columbus Public Library, our Civic Commons facility, and of course, a variety of businesses that range from Aflac to Dinglewood Pharmacy. And I say this so you can see the size of the difference in size in those 2 businesses. All right, so now that you know where Midtown is, and remember that part, I guess the best way to explain what it is that we do is to break it down into 5 strategic focus areas. Those are up on your screen. And so I'll give you some examples of what we are doing, what we have done for each of those areas, followed by what's next within each of those areas. So the first is neighborhood enhancement and sense of place. As I mentioned, Lake Bottom Park our parks are something that are recognized citywide from Midtown to Columbus. I think during the pandemic, it was evident that having outdoor facilities and the ability to do something safely outdoors really elevated a lot more the importance of our parks. More than ever, we saw a lot of people from different parts of town utilizing Lake Bottom Park, Dinglewood Park, and that's great. And that's what those parks are there for. It was really, really nice to see them be a lot busier and people enjoying them. We talk about building community and a sense of pride, and we try to address that a lot by providing enhancements to our parks and public spaces. We believe on the power and the impact that public art can have within Midtown as well. So I think you've seen some of our murals. Our first mural is there. That is the Midtown logo mural that is located on 13th Street. There is some public art as well in Dinglewood Park. And a couple of years ago, I believe in 2019, we rolled out an initiative with our neighborhood flags. And again, it's been a great success with folks calling to get those flags and wave them proudly. But also a lot of our neighbors call them to give them as gifts to people that are new to the Midtown area. Economic development is key to what we do. I think one of the most visible projects within economic development is the Winston Streetscapes project. Now, this project did take a while to complete. There's a lot of, those of you who are familiar with state and federal government know that there's a lot of hoops to jump, a lot of paperwork, a lot of things that you have to clear, environmental issues, availability of construction materials, schedules. Of course, down here, the weather is always an issue. But 10 years since this project was started, we were able to complete this project in December 2019. I held a ribbon cutting on that month as well. The Winston Streetscapes is a $3.1 million investment in our community, one of our busiest corridors in Midtown, which is Winton Road. From that $3.1 million that was invested in that project, Midtown Inc. raised $450,000 as matching funds towards that project through a lot of the generosity of foundations and individuals who truly love not just Midtown, but the community as a whole. So if you drive through Winton Road, please take a look from Hilton Avenue all the way down to Peacock, and you will see this great project. Now that it's built is when we are doing some further enhancements to its beautification, and we have started to see some economic growth and development through that corridor, and I'll get to that portion here in a second. So all of Midtown, the area that we cover, is a tax allocation district. It is also a designated opportunity zone. So we look forward to the opportunity of local or outside developers to take advantage of these tax allocation districts and really make a difference on their developments or any projects that they're trying to build. The pictures that you see there, that is the former Continental Pet Salon, which is on Winton Road. The folks that are now utilizing this building came to the Midtown office and recognized the improvements on Winton Road through the Winston Streetscapes. And they said, look, this is part of our church ministry. We are renting this spot, and we really want to do something that matches the character, that matches the improvements of the Winston Streetscapes. But we don't know where to start. And so we sat down with them, and through the generosity of 2WR and Emily Florner, who's a talented architect, she donated her time and skills, and she gave us some ideas on what we could do with very little funds, but a lot of creativity to elevate that area. And it was a great exercise, a great experience for MidTown Inc., and I believe also for the property owners to work on this project. So what used to be the former Continental Pet Salon, if you drive by now, it is the King of Kings Cafe. And it serves as a thrift shop to generate funds for their ministry. They have live music. They've started bringing in food trucks. They hung some very nice patio lights on the front porch. And again, you drive by and you see some paint, some greenery, and the enthusiasm of these folks has really done to that area. The Continental Pet Salon, it's 3 different structures right there where the pocket park is, at the intersection of Winton and Forest. And a big difference, and that is what we hoped to accomplish with the Winston Streetscapes project. This is one project that is visible, that you can visit now, and we hope that this is the first of many to come to Winton Road. So within Midtown, we also have the Midtown Business Association. What we do there is we have over 120 members, dues-pays members. We try to, our goal with the Business Association is to connect our neighbors in our neighborhoods to their local services, so that you know where your local dry cleaner is, your local pharmacy, and where you can get these services. We do a variety of social media promotions for them. At a point, of course, before the pandemic, we were doing some in-person meetings where we would do some trainings for them on marketing, digital advertising, and things of that nature. In 2020, and again this year, Bitsy Detwilder, who heads our business association, came up with this very fun and creative sketch for a TV commercial, which now you can see on local TV. And I brought one here to show to you as an example of what it is that we do for our businesses.
In the heart of Columbus lies Midtown.
We'll help you find the perfect place.
Just spread out.
And raise a family. And I'll help you pay for it.
I'll help get you out of the doghouse.
These dogs may be scrambled, but we don't scramble your medications. We keep them in perfect order.
I've been painting with a broad brush for over 41 years in Midtown.
And ordering from our broad menu, you can enjoy one of our famous camel riders.
1, 2, 3, 4. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
And we'll help you with a clean bill of health.
Speaking of clean, Suds makes fresh and clean deliveries daily.
We like to make you look impressive.
See what I did there?
Just remember, we're your go-to when you're feeling a little wicked.
And to that we say, jeans make you kin and barbecue makes you family right here in Midtown Columbus.
We are grateful for the many MBA members who choose to make Midtown their business home. We are also ready to welcome new businesses to the area.
That was pretty fun, wasn't it? The next portion, and perhaps one of the ones that we have been really actively working on, is active transportation, connections, and mobility. As Tripp mentioned, in 2016, MidTown Inc. submitted a proposal. Actually, we submitted a tweet to the Knight Foundation for their Knight Cities Challenge, and we won that challenge. That led to the creation, the development of our minimum grid plan. And our minimum grid plan focuses on how we can better connect Midtown to Uptown, identifying those corridors that are viable, that are safe, and that would allow for better transportation for bicyclists, pedestrians, and motor vehicles. We take an approach of transportation as complete streets, where we can all share the road, where we can get to from point A to B safely and within a timely manner. So active transportation has been at the forefront of what we do. I think that you all have seen a lot of the improvements that have taken place along 13th Street there by the Villages on 13th from Lake Bottom Park to that area. And again, in speaking to some of the tenants at the Villages of 13th, one of the reasons they chose to be there is because they believed in this project, and they really saw the benefit of allowing people, those who are visiting Dinglewood Park or Lake Bottom Park, to have the ability to walk to the Villages and enjoy a beverage or a meal after their stroll down the park. So there's been a big focus on transportation, and the way we see transportation now is also to provide us with ideas for redevelopment. If we are providing a better road infrastructure that is giving our corridors a better look, a more appealing image, we hope that economic development would come through that. And it is a way for us to attract new businesses, but also to retain those that are there. So it has been something that we have been working on constantly, and since 2016. Of course, we can't talk about transportation and connections without mentioning Dragonfly Trails. Now, Dragonfly Trails is not a project that we are funding or building, but it is a project that we are heavily involved in. The impact of the Dragonfly Trails in the community is tremendous. I think for those of us who measure the amount of tourism, when you tie in having multi-use facilities for cyclists and pedestrians, along with whitewater rafting and the many amenities that our city offers, one can only see the positive impact that these trails have. But like Tripp mentioned, I do like sailing when I have time. Sorry, sailing. See, that's where my mind is. I enjoy cycling a lot, and having had the opportunity in my prior job to travel the state looking at different bicycle facilities, it is safe to say that Columbus has state-of-the-art facilities, and we are quickly approaching the quality and the level of trails like the Atlanta Beltline or the Silver Comet. So Dragonfly Trails, it's a very important project to us, and it is connecting a lot of very important points in Midtown. So again, we can't speak about transportation without the Dragonfly Trails. If you have the opportunity to go by or ride by the MLK Jr. Boulevard, you'll be able to see the impact that this trail has had in that corridor. We see this trail through MLK Drive as a linear park, and the amount of beautification that it has brought to that area is tremendous. Great project, and we're very grateful for the opportunity to work with Dragonfly Trails and the impact that it has not just in Midtown, but throughout the entire Columbus community. The last portion is organizational capacity. You know, a lot of what we do, pretty much everything that we do, is done with a very small staff. Y'all had the opportunity earlier to meet our staff. Sarah Carver, who's our office manager. Bitsy Detweiler, who needs no introduction. I know she knows everybody here in this room, and everybody knows Bitsy. And of course, Kelly Watts, who is our finance manager. Together, you know, we tackle a lot of all of these projects, which we could not do if it weren't also for a very active, a very involved board. Next to me, of course, I have Mr. Tripp Wade, who's our immediate past president. Our current president, who could not be here today, is Muffy Stadensky. And in January 2022, our incoming president is our fellow Rotarian, Cameron Bean, who we look forward to working with over the next 2 years. Cameron has been very involved with Midtown for quite a while. And a lot of what we do could not be done without the guidance of our board. In 2020, right before the pandemic, right before the shutdown, we completed our strategic plan, the CSU Leadership Institute. And we had a great time working on that, and then, of course, shutdown happened. So, but we managed to navigate all the intricacies and still continue to navigate those. I'd like to thank our staff members and our board members who are here as well. All right, so those are the 5 areas that we perhaps is the best way to explain what we do at MidTown Inc. So let me tell you now briefly what's next. 13th Street is a project that we are continue to wait for. As per yesterday when we spoke with our city's leadership, it is on the docket and it will be let in early October. That project is a lane reconfiguration of 13th Street from 13th Avenue to 5th Avenue across the viaduct. You can see some of the images there of what it is that we are talking about when we refer to a lane reconfiguration. It will also include parallel and diagonal parking, front door parking for those businesses. We are working on a phase 1 impact beautification project for 13th Street so that once the road is resurfaced and restriped, so that you can see what the impact of this project can be on some of the commercial properties that are there on 13th Street. I think if you have driven through 13th Street, you have been able to see a variety of murals, and that was part of our Light Up Midtown initiative, which is a public art initiative. That Light Up Midtown pretty much started our public art fund and initiative, which we hope to continue in many different areas of Midtown, where public art lends itself as an agent of change and beautification for where we implement that. So you've heard me talk about Winton Road, you've heard me talk about 13th Street, and then the next corridor is 17th Street, Linwood Boulevard. This is a very, very beautiful portion of Midtown, and again, is one of our most important corridors in terms of connectivity and the amount of people that travel through it. The intersection that's on your screen, that is the 5 Points intersection, and those are just conceptual renderings. That's not what's happening there. But what is happening there is we are looking forward to redeveloping and really providing a much needed beautification to Linwood Boulevard. A lot of the cities around Georgia, Athens, of course, go Dogs, is the 5 Points area. And this is an opportunity for us to recognize our 5 Points and really make it a point of interest within Midtown. So Linwood Boulevard is an area that it's already experiencing a lot of redevelopment. You have seen there's a lot of work right past Linwood Boulevard heading towards 10th Avenue. And there's a lot more commercial and residential work coming there. So very excited about the opportunity here with this corridor. And definitely stay tuned. I think some great things will be coming to this area. Those are some wonderful children, some Clubview Elementary students there at our Midtown mural. I think a while back, Blake Melton was at this stage and talked to you all about Standing Boy Trails. Standing Boy Trails is a state-of-the-art, multi-million-dollar project for mountain biking. One of the ways in which we try to complement that effort is providing a children's bicycle park. A children's bicycle park consists of a pump track, and a pump track allows children to develop skills necessary to really enjoy mountain biking. So we have began working on a conceptual plan and study for the best possible area where we could build this children's bicycle park. So we have completed the majority of the portion of our conceptual plan with the help from the International Mountain Bike Association, which is the same group that design and build Standing Boy Trails. So this will be a first type of park in Columbus. We're very excited about the opportunity to be able to get this project funded and built. So we will definitely stay tuned once we complete this conceptual plan and we're able to narrow down its specific location within Midtown as well. You know, one of the things that we try to do is to really listen to our neighbors and to our business community. Our mission is to sustain and enhance the neighborhoods and businesses within Midtown. So we try very hard to take a step back and listen to the needs of our neighbors, listen to the needs of our business community. And that is one thing that we look forward to continue to doing. Of course, with social distancing and maintaining safety, it's really hard to have a lot of these in-person meetings and larger meetings with our neighborhood groups. But as we look optimistically for the future, we hope to be able to re-engage with a lot of our neighborhoods and be able to provide them with the tools necessary to strengthen them. At a point in February of 2020, in an effort to connect our neighborhoods to our local law enforcement, we rolled out the Midtown Unity Classic, which was a basketball game that was very well attended. We held it at the YMCA and the A.J. McClung YMCA. You see the picture there of former Police Chief Ricky Boren and Mayor Skip Henderson there with some police officers and some of the youth that came out and played that game. It was a great morning of basketball and unity, and we hope to roll that out as soon as that is a possibility and that is safe. We have an effort within Midtown called Clean Midtown, and that is our approach at enhancing beautification through tackling litter. And I think that's something you've heard throughout. Many people have spoken here. And that is a picture of Muffy Shadinsky and I cleaning the Dragonfly Trails on one of the cleanup days. Litter is a problem, and that is our way of trying to give back to our community. There's a lot more education that needs to occur with that, and so those are some of the steps that we're looking towards working in next. Well, of course, one cannot talk about Midtown without talking about our great event, the Midtown Mingle. This year, we will be celebrating our Midtown Mingle, its 10-year anniversary at Lake Bottom Park. Can't think of a more fitting and popular place to hold that event. It'll be October 14th, and I strongly encourage you and invite you all to attend. It's a great chance to get to catch up with some of your older neighbors, your new neighbors, people you haven't seen in a while. It's a community-wide event, and it's for those of you who have not been, or those of you who have been, know that it is a lot of fun. It is a great event that has become a signature of Midtown. We also have, like I mentioned, our Clean Midtown event. We also host our Midtown Bike Around to show the bikeability and some of our historic neighborhoods. We rolled out the first Midtown Get Down, which was a concert at the band shell at Lake Bottom Park. We had the Screaming Jays out of Asheville, North Carolina join us. That year was it's a fantastic event. And of course, Made in Midtown, which is an art initiative that has a theme every year. A lot of these have been paused as we safely continue to wait and see what's going to happen. But we did host our Bike Around event, and again, events are outside. We tend to feel a bit more comfortable, and people keep a lot of safer distance while they're enjoying themselves. Well, as I'm approaching the 1 p.m. time here, I want to close with telling you all that the work that we do at Midtown is meaningful to us, to our board, to our staff. The work of community development is long, it's transformative, but it does take time. And the work that we do always goes back to the people. If one were to ask me, how do we measure the success of what we do? It is by seeing how we are able to improve the quality of life of our neighborhoods, the quality of life of those who reside and work within Midtown. That to us is the best and most clear indicator that we are doing our job. So we hope that you would join us on our efforts to make towards making Midtown even better. And again, just thank you for your time. And I will take some questions if we have time for questions. I have one last item before questions. I want to ask two questions to y'all, and I promise you, I brought y'all, for whoever answers those questions, I brought you a pretty nice gift. Or what I think is a pretty nice gift, at least. All right. Can someone tell me what is the land size of Midtown? Well, someone raise their hands and get the microphone. And 6 square miles. Kenny Ilges. All right. Can someone tell me where the 10th annual Mingle will be held? Raise your hand and say it. Who was? All right, Matt Plummer. All right. For Kenny and Mr. Plummer, come see Sarah Carver when we finish the program. We have 2 Mingle tickets for you, and we hope that you and you'll bring a friend to our event. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julio. And as a Rotarian, you already know that we will be placing a brand new children's book inscribed with your name into the public library in Midtown. Yeah. That was wonderful. I really enjoyed that. I would like to remind you that there is a replay of today's program on Facebook and both YouTube. And I wanted to invite you to join us for our next Rotary Zoom happy hour, and that'll be tomorrow evening from 6 to 8. You don't have to stay the whole time. You can, but you can pop in and say hello. And then I would like to also re-welcome all of our visitors. So good to have you here today. And especially to Specialist, I want to make sure I get it correct, Specialist Wise, correct? We're so glad that you're here. And you won't want to miss next week's program. Our speaker next week will be the Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger. So until we meet next week, let's continue to make a difference.